Hey YouTubers, gonna do a video on metal detecting. Maybe give some ideas on just the basic use of it and maybe some info that might save you a few headaches and just to get you started. I'm no expert by no means, but my wife and I have been going for about 5 years. We go, just once in a while, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, just to get out of the house and do something, get a little exercise. This is the Bounty Hunter, the Bounty Hunter Sharpshooter 2. This is the coil. It's waterproof. You can go in the water up to this point. You don't want to get it any deeper than this. That's probably about 3 feet. Usually you don't get out that far anyway. You're just into the shallow water, by the beach or wherever. But it's pretty basic. I'll get to the. It's a light, nice machine, and it's not real expensive. You don't want to buy the cheapest ones, but if you're just going to do it once in a while, you don't need to buy the most expensive ones either. This one's probably about, I think it was like $250. And you're going to find probably about as much as you'll find with some of them $500 to $1,000 machines. But so buy yourself a medium priced one to start. I'll just go through the basic motion. You want to hold it so it's flat to the surface and move it back and forth, keeping it as flat as you can, and move it just a radius around the front of you, and take a step at a time and move it back and forth. You don't want to, when you're swinging it, you get to the end, you don't want to, I'm over exaggerating, but you don't want to go like that. You want to keep it flat all the time, and about a half inch away. The coil here senses the magnetism of the metal, the objects in the ground, and it tries to determine what the composition of the metal is. And when it does, it gives off certain tones. I think this one gives off like 3 different tones that you'll hear, and I'll go over that later. Once you do get a good tone and hit a target, for example, I just have that down there as a target that's under the ground. You can move it back and forth and you'll hear it beep, and with practice you'll get better at it, but you can move it back and forth and then move it forward and back till you get like a crisscross pattern, and keep your eye on the spot and then start digging. One other thing I'd like to explain, the motion. This has to be moving all the time. There's only one function. Most of the time there's only one function where you'll be holding it, where you don't have to be moving the coil back and forth. Most of the time you'll have to move the coil back and forth. If I just held it over the object, it wouldn't beep unless I was moving it like that. If I just hold still, it's not going to do anything. So you got to keep it moving, except for that one function, but I'll explain that later. Here's a few things that you might want to have. A small shovel. When you find your target, you can dig around the target area and then plop up the dirt and the sod. I bring this for tougher when the soil's dry. I bought this at Harbor Freight for like $10. It's a real stiff. You want a real stiff, strong knife. But this works good too for getting into hard soil. One of the things that we did not have for about 3 or 4 years was is this deal here. It's called a pinpointer. This is the Garrett. It's definitely worth the money. This has saved us so much time that we didn't realize how valuable this tool was. You don't have to get one right away, but I would recommend getting it as soon as you can. What this does is once you dig your target, it's kind of hard to find, so you can poke this down and this will vibrate and make a noise too. The closer you get to the target, if you have a pile of dirt, you know, over here, here's your pile of dirt. You can poke around in the pile of dirt, and you can poke in the hole that you just dug out to see if you have to dig any deeper. But this is a great tool, and this is a good one too, the Garrett Pro Pinpointer. The pinpointer costs, I think, like around $120, but it was well worth it. So you need your shovel, maybe a knife. You can bring a big shovel too. Sometimes it's kind of a pain in the butt lagging it around with you, but that works pretty good too. A small regular spade that you can get your foot into. One thing I want to say about metal detecting, you're going to spend a lot of time digging up things that you really don't want. I don't care if you have an expensive one or a medium-sized one, but you can eliminate some of that. You know, the only way to know for sure if you're passing something over is to dig it up. But you can eliminate the probability of that object being junk or something better with a few little techniques that we've learned all over the years. And I'll explain some of that. Most of the functions on these metal detectors are going to really depend where you're at. That's one of the biggest factors. If you're on, say, like if you're at a Civil War battlefield, a lot of those items like old horseshoes, scissors, old scissors, or bullets, you know, a lot of them items are going to have the same metal composition as junk, like beer cans, pull tabs, you know, just junk pieces of rusty steel. So in that situation, you're going to want to look for just about everything, and you're going to want to dig up everything because you just don't know. Now if you're on a beach somewhere and you want to just look for more valuable metals, then you can eliminate a lot of that junk stuff and just pass it up. Makes it a lot easier, and that's basically what these metal detectors are for. You know, when in doubt, dig it up, but the more valuable coins, you can look for them, and just specifically those type of items. Okay, now that I've gone over the basic operations and bored you to death, I think I'll do another video, number 2, and that'll be on the Sharpshooter 2, just basic operation, the functions. Thanks, YouTube.